occasionally. It's usually my travel watch, once in a blue moon. Swatch. I will wear this. That was a dumb dad joke. That's not sexy.
Bond. James Bond.
Good morning. My name's Bond. James Bond.
Solitaire.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
Bond. James Bond.
Howdy, and welcome to episode 15 of Sammy Legend's James Bond Show. I am Sammy Legend, and today we will be going over my Omega Swatch Moonswatch. This is long overdue. I've had this watch since March. I've been very busy. I haven't had time to do a review yet, and I know they've been out for well over a year now at this point, but I figured I would give my 2 cents on this watch. First of all, the story on how I got it. I was in Vegas this past March, the beginning of March, and I saw that they had a Swatch boutique downtown in the New York casino. So I went down there, and they had 4 left. And I saw a Luke Taggart video from Bond's apartment recently where he reviewed this as well. And he said that when he got his, they had the same 4 I did. They had the Mission to Mars, which is the one I got. They had the Sun. They had Jupiter, I think. And I forget the 4th one. It's the pink one. Venus, I think. And I was debating on the Sun because it had the most unique dial. It kind of like a metallic yellow, but that really won't go with anything. Like yellow, I was like, that's not going to ever go with anything. So, and I wanted one. I had to get one. So I decided on the Mission to Mars. And I got a new strap on it, a 2-piece red and black. The strap that comes on it is fine. It's cool that it says Speedmaster, Moonswatch, Mission to Mars, and it says Omega there and Swatch on the other end. But that's not sexy. That's not a good sound for even like this cheap watch. You can go to the store and get a $20 little watch, and it'll have a semi-decent, actual bracelet. So I had to replace this. Plus, when it was on my wrist, I didn't like how much it stuck out here. It stuck out like an inch from my wrist, just the way the strap is made. So I had to swap it out, and I got a 2-piece because I didn't want to cover up the back. Because the back is pretty cool. Mission to Mars. And it says, dream big, fly higher, explore the universe, reach for the planets, enjoy the mission. So that's pretty much the review for, or the story on how I got it, and a little bit on the watch. Some things I have noticed. I don't think I'd be able to pick it up on camera, but if you're in a quiet room, this thing ticks very, very loud. It's not quiet at all. And they say it's, bioceramic and whatever else. It's basically just a glorified plastic. To be honest, it's a lot. It essentially is kind of an expensive toy, more or less. But it's a collector's toy at that, and it still is cool, and it honors the original Moonwatch and the Mission to the Moon, which is obviously a huge deal. And Omega obviously was the watch that was worn. But it's really cool too, because it has the in the very center. Don't know if I'll be able to pick it up here, but there's an etched S in there, just like the original ones. As for wear, literally wear and wear, it wears fine. I like especially with the new strap, I like the way it wears. It's not too big of a face. It looks nice, and red and white can, if you pair it right, it could kind of go with some things. As for the other kind of wear, this has more or less been my travel watch. I wore it on the plane back from Vegas, and then I went to Vegas 6 weeks later. I can't use my words. And I wore it again to and from, and 1 or 2 days while I was there, and 1 or 2 times since, and that was May, the beginning of May. So I really haven't worn this too much, and it's not bad, but like the crystal is already got very minor scratches on it because it's just plastic, and I really don't think there's any kind of coating on it. There can't be because it's just cheap plastic. But if you're careful with it, I think it could last. Or if you truly don't care, this could be a great workout watch. It's very light, incredibly light. So if you're going for a run, or you're doing sit-ups, push-ups, you're lifting weights, whatever, it's not going to weigh your wrist down. Not that that would be a whole lot anyway, but you wouldn't have to worry about it getting ruined because it's just kind of a cheap, fun little watch. As for bond connections, I don't really think there is any, besides obviously just being an Omega, which it's not. This is a Swatch with the Omega logo on it, which is cool that it's on both the strap and on the face, and how Omega is bigger than Swatch. That is cool. But, since the Swatch group owns Omega and countless others, this is not an Omega at all. At all. It is 100% a Swatch. You can only get them at the Swatch boutiques anyway. You can't ever get them at an Omega store. Which goes into the sales on these too. Segue. I read, this is now July, I like this is a date, has a date window. It's July 13th, and I read the other day that there's a possibility soon, maybe, that these might start coming into other stores, or where you could actually purchase them online. That would be really cool, because I guess the demand for these is still relatively high. And now they've released, 3 different versions now of the Mission to the Moon Moonswatch. You have the original, you have the Moonshine Gold, and now you have like a Moonshine Gold Strawberry or something like that. So there's a lot to choose from. All the planets, three different moon missions, and the sun. There's almost something for everybody. You can get flashy ones kind of like this, or the sun, or the pink one, or you can get more subtle ones like Earth, Moon, and Neptune, I think, are all kind of subdued, more like black, dark blues. They could probably go with more things than, say, this can, but it's really cool that they made this, and it stays true to the original. It has the dot over 90. It has the etched S in the glass, and it's got the tachymeter on the outside, and the 2 red hands are rockets. And I think this is the only one, I believe, that actually has those hands as rockets. The Saturn one is really cool. That's the one I wanted originally, with the rings around the lower dial. But they didn't have it, so I had to get this. But that's okay. This is really cool. And I will say, though, there has been times where I'll start the second hand. I'll stop it. I'll restart it. And that seemed to line up okay on there with the center. That's hit or miss. I've just fiddled with it before, and sometimes the second hand will line up directly on the 12. Other times it'll be just a skosh off. But for, a $260 watch or whatever, that's not too bad. This is the bag that it came in. It's a pretty cool little Swatch bag. Had to keep that. And one of my favorite things actually is the box. It's textured a little bit, and every one has, it's unique to the color is unique to the watch. And you got Omega and Swatch on the sides there. You have some information about Mars or whatever planet you got, or the sun on the side, and then a little anecdote there on the other side. One day Mars will have a ring. And then on the bottom, you have all of them minus the 2 new mission to the moon. The inside is really nice too. It opens up. And it's a clamshell. And it's got it's plastic, it's plastic, but it has a little watch roll right there when you open it up. And then I kept my receipt, and I have my certificate too here. We got, what was that? On March 5th, New York Casino in Las Vegas. That's where I got this. I will say that I have I'll just go ahead and grab it. One sec. This is my Seiko box. This is a $700 watch, and this is only a $260 watch. This box is cooler than this one, and I like the boxes. Like they're keepsake things. It's just really cool, but it's just flimsy cardboard, no design on it, and then it comes with a pillow, which is nice. That's cool, but like other than that, this Seiko box does nothing. Like it's very plain. It's nowhere near what this has. This is so cool. But anyway, that's my review on this watch. It's cool. I do wear it occasionally. It's usually my travel watch once in a blue moon. Swatch. I will wear this. That was a dumb dad joke. I will wear this occasionally just because it was my first Omega, technically, and it's really cool. The heritage on this is awesome, and even though it's cheap, the details are great. The loom is kind of cool, and the hands are really, really cool. And it's got the red S there on Moonswatch. For a cheap made watch, I guarantee you it doesn't cost anywhere near the $260 to make this. And it only has 4 jewels inside. I think, I don't even know what this Seiko has, but I think the Speedmaster, they have 34 or 35 jewels or something like that. This is very, very cheap. But all that considered, this has a lot of cool details on the face, on the back. Each one, the battery cover has, the logo for the planet. It's got etched on the side here, on the crown, Omega Swatch. It's just really cool. It's a really cool idea. I'm glad that they did it. I feel like there's some things that they could have done better, such as letting people get these online. That would have been really, really great. But maybe we're getting there. I hope we are, because this is really cool. It's a cool entry-level watch for people that are into history or, you know, into James Bond, but they can't afford an Omega. I mean, it does have the Omega logo on the face and on the strap. So if they're okay with that, this could be their first Omega, and it's a good entry level watch for that, and it can lead into maybe an actual Omega. It's just there's so much more to say about this, about little things like that, little thoughts that I don't really need to say because everyone else has said it. I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents about it. But this is a very, very cool watch. I'm glad that I got the mission to Mars. This is actually really, really cool. It comes with a cool bag, and I will continue to wear this every now and then. It's very light. Like, I hardly feel that there's anything on my wrist. Speedmasters. Wouldn't that be cool if James Bond wore a Speedmaster? Because he's had the Seamaster and the Aquaterra and the Planet Ocean, which are all just versions of the Seamaster. But wouldn't that be cool if he actually wore a Speedmaster? That'd be different, that's for sure. But on that note, this was episode 15 of Sammy Legend's James Bond Show. I am Sammy Legend. I thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Shaken, not stirred.